Hi, I'm Brian Lord, Senior Vice President here at Premier Speakers Bureau, and I'm excited to have on the real former captain of the Enterprise, Ron Horton. Ron, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks, Brian. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Now, the Star Trek, the newest Star Trek movie opens tonight as we're recording this. And if you had to pick a captain that you had to be of the Starship Enterprise, who would you rather be? Would you rather be Chris Pine or maybe Patrick Stewart or William Shatner? Who's your favorite one if you had to try to line up with one of those guys?
Well, considering my age is 53, I'd have to go with William Shatner. Everybody when they think of the captain of the Enterprise, it's William Shatner, and so I'd have to absolutely go with him. I think we're a little closer in age than the other folks are. I've seen the previews of the new captain, and I'm not sure he's old enough to have a driver's license yet.
Now, when you were a kid, I know if you watched it when you were a kid, did you ever, when you actually became the commander of the Enterprise, did that spark anything in you compared to maybe one of your other commands?
Well, what really sparked in just the historical value and the history of the real carrier Enterprise. It was the eighth in the class, and it was the legend of warships out there, and that's what it really kind of sprung in my heart that wow, I get to command, not only the Enterprise but such a legend who's has a starship named after it and many other things.
I know if your ship is good enough to have a famous starship named after it, it's pretty good. Now you are, in addition to your commands in the past, you're a very talented speaker through the Afterburner Group, and you're specialized in leadership and safety and health. And as you're looking at these, what do you feel are the most pressing issues in relation to safety that face companies today?
Uh, I think the number one issue is just people getting hurt, and I think that they get hurt for a couple reasons. One, they get hurt for failure to follow procedures, for procedural compliance. And I think the other reason that they get hurt is they get hurt because they get task saturated, and folks don't recognize that they're getting task saturated. And task saturation is the perception or reality that there's not enough time, tools, or resources available to accomplish the mission, and so people start to rush, and that's how they get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the pressing.
Yeah, and now you had a pretty fantastic safety record under your command.
The team did, and I don't say as I would tell people, there was probably 15 things that would go on in that ship at any given moment that would get me thrown in jail, and I controlled none of them. But safety is all about leadership and frontline leadership, and it's not so much at the executive level; it's the people that I say that doing the real work, and those frontline leaders. They're the ones that make it happen. So they had a superb safety record, especially on the deployment we went on in 2007.
Hmm. Now, for you event planners watching this, that was a good example of leadership right there, deferring the praise towards the people you work with. So that's definitely a good leadership trait there. Now, Ron, another quick question here: what do you feel are maybe two or three keys to safety excellence?
Well, I think that safety excellence is a result of operational excellence. And operational excellence is a result of leadership excellence. So if you are striving for safety excellence, you should strive to achieve operational excellence and leadership excellence by developing your frontline leaders, and then follow your procedures. And the last thing I would add is to have a questioning attitude. And a questioning attitude is not questioning your boss, questioning policies. A questioning attitude is always asking the question, is the information I'm getting correct?
Mm-hmm. Now, Ron, I know you're very big on customization.
Mm-hmm.
You get in there, and one of the things we always try to do is make sure that event planners look good and we make their lives easier. And I know that's very important to you too. How do you make event planners' lives easier? How do you customize? How do you go about that?
Well, when we do this, we sit down with the event planners, and we, as we go through the process, we ask them, what kind of threats do you face every day? What are the impediments to your mission objective? because they have a mission objective just like we do. Whether you're a fighter pilot or a carrier captain, you have a mission objective every day. And we teach them, go, what are those threats? And they'll tell us those. And then we'll ask them, well, what resources do you have to combat those threats? And what kind of lessons learned do you have? And then we also, when we get into talking about task saturation, what makes your head hurt? What's a day look like to you? When you start off in an event, what's that look like? And we show them quickly, you get task saturated.
Well, Ron, thank you so much for doing this interview. We really appreciate it. And for you event planners watching, if you look under the screen here, you'll be able to see a link to Ron and his presentation and additional information about him and Afterburner. And also make sure to subscribe to this channel for other interviews. So, Ron, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I really enjoyed it. Have a great day.
You too.